Take a look at the image on your screen. You should be seeing 5 glasses of water, all at various levels of being full. My question to you is, what do they have in common? 2 of them are nearly full, 2 of them are almost empty, and of course, we have the one in the middle. Is it half full or is it half empty? It depends on if you're an optimist or a pessimist, right? Or excuse me, as many pessimists like to be referred to, a realist. Well, I don't know about you. For a lot of my life, I have been told how to look at this glass in the middle. And then one day, a new perspective was introduced. What do these glasses have in common? They're refillable. Now, sure, it's going to take some more time and some more liquid to fill some of them more than others, but if our goal is a full glass, it'll be worth it, right? Imagine that full glass is an analogy for one of your goals. And today, we're going to learn how to fill that glass, how to get you from here to here, and what is causing that gap in between, and what to do about it. Today, we are going to learn about human performance technology. This is one of my favorite skills to talk about. And who am I? I'm glad you asked. I'm AJ from 4-Leaf Leadership. I have been coaching professionally since about 2010. And in 2010, I was introduced to human performance technology. The next year, I found myself not only loving the concept, but actually teaching it to some of my new coworkers. So now I have coached sales leadership, C-level executives, and brand new leaders alike in how to use human performance technology to be successful. And this has never been just a job for me. These skills, especially human performance technology, have been instrumental to my career, but more importantly, they've been instrumental to the careers of the people that I've had the pleasure of working with. And I do hope that this is going to be a positive influence on not only your career, but your life. Now, with any skill that I teach, we have to start with how to measure that skill. So if you've already learned about the 4 levels of competency, feel free to speed on ahead. But if not, I highly encourage you to learn, as this is a great tool to make sure that you are on the path to greatness. So there are 4 levels of competency. Level 1 is unconscious incompetence. This is basically the level of not knowing. I don't realize that I need help in this skill. I don't realize that this skill is valuable to me, or I don't even know that this skill exists. And for many people, that's where we're at with human performance technology. Then one day, boom, like a freight train, it hits us. Hopefully that never happens to you. When we realize I need to know this and I don't know it, or I thought I knew how to problem solve and I thought I was being really comprehensive about how I approached problems and goals, but actually there's a better way. And that's where we are consciously incompetent. Okay? It sounds a little harsh, but it basically means we now know what we don't know. We finally get the chance to try it, to put it in action. And doing it successfully brings us to level 3, conscious competence. I can do it, I just have to think about it. And I have to think about it until I get enough practice where, gee, I don't have to think about it anymore. I can do it in my sleep. And that brings us to unconscious competence, or level 4. So think about it this way. Brushing your teeth. When you were a small child, you probably didn't even think about brushing your teeth or that it was a thing until someone came along and told you, hey, we need to get your teeth brushed. Then you were at a level 2. You didn't know how to brush your teeth, but you knew it was an important skill. The first day you held that brush in your hand and started going, then you were at level 3. Now I like to break level 3 into 3 different parts: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Now, as an adult, you're probably going, man, I don't think I've thought about how to brush my teeth in a long, long time. This cycle can repeat itself over and over and over again, and we'll stick with the brushing teeth analogy. For example, I went to a dental hygienist a few months ago, and she told me I've been brushing my teeth wrong my entire life. So here I've been brushing my teeth, not even having to think about it, thinking I'm at a level 4 of teeth brushing, when all of a sudden I realize I was not. I am doing it wrong. Conscious incompetence. So she shows me the correct way to brush my teeth, and I go home and I immediately practice because that's just who I am. And still, to this day, months later, I am in level 3. I am better at it than I was that first day, but I still have to think about it. And I still have to listen to her words every once in a while and go, nope, I'm not doing it right. I need to do it this way. And eventually, I'm sure I'll get right back to level 4. And then I'll have my own kids and it'll be right back into level 3 to go, how was it that I had to brush my teeth again? So the reason this is so important is with human performance technology, we are now at that level 2, right? Once we get to that point where we deem it valuable and we understand and acknowledge that there's room for improvement in how we approach problems and goals, it brings us to level 3. And by the time we are done working together, you will have advanced into at least the beginner level of level 3 so you can get through human performance technology. The more you come back to the resources and tools that we offer through 4-Leaf Leadership, the faster you will progress from beginner to intermediate to advanced and eventually to unconscious competence where you could do this in your sleep, right? And that's my goal for you. So use up our resources and tools so that you can get to that point and then keep using them so you can get back into level 3 whenever you have to train someone else how to use it. With that, enough of the prep. You are here to learn about human performance technology. In some cases, it is referred to as human performance improvement. It emerged in the 1950s and it is considered an empirical process. Basically, that means it's tried and true, not something that we think will work. Human performance technology is not only empirical, but it is also comprehensive. Basically, instead of relying on only the areas that we have experience with or connections to, we're looking at every aspect of what's causing the gap. Using this process, we're narrowing down the goal that needs to be accomplished, the root cause that needs to be addressed or causes, and the best strategy to address it. Here at 4-Leaf Leadership, we use human performance technology to develop all of our content. We drive all of our coaching sessions with it, and we use it as foundation for all of our workshops. Our strategic planning worksheet and our book, a journey to improving performance. I can't even say the name of the book. Our strategic planning worksheet and the book, A Journey to Improving Performance, pull concepts of HPT, as I'll refer to it from now on, and make them simpler to apply to both business and everyday life. So trainer timeout, if you took a moment to say, what on earth is human performance technology, and went on your favorite search engine and went into your favorite crowdsourced encyclopedia site and went, I've read a lot on it and I still don't understand it. I know. I totally get it, because imagine 10 years ago, there was even less out there on the subject. So we're going to make it simpler. Okay, so you may not see a lot of the terms that we use here at 4-Leaf out there in the world when you're reading about it, but it will be much simpler to understand, and that's our goal. So HPT is a process with 4 steps. They are performance analysis, cause analysis, interventions, and evaluation. We are going to begin by making your goal into a measurable gap. In other words, analyzing the performance. Where are we now, and where do we want to be? The bulk of our work will be analyzing the cause. In other words, why does this gap exist? Then we'll explore some intervention tactics, and we'll base your answers in the cause analysis step. Okay, so you're going to answer some questions in the cause analysis step. We're going to base our intervention answers on your answers that you gave in those questions. Sounds a little confusing, but I promise it'll be much simpler once we get there. Finally, we'll prioritize your interventions and make a plan for evaluating your strategy. The more you use the resources and tools that we offer, the sooner that you will become advanced at using HPT and even get that level of unconscious competence. So, are you ready? I'm so excited for you. Our first step is to determine where we want to go. Okay, this is a journey. We are going somewhere, and either we're going alone or we're taking a team with us. This process can be used for any goal, be it a monthly sales goal, a long-term project. If it can be measured, it can be one of our goals. So for the first time going through this, and even if you're not actually going through it, even if you're just curious about what human performance technology and HPT is, think of a goal. Okay? It's going to make a difference. Even in this video right now, pick a goal. If you're not sure what goal to pick, let's start with one that's easily defined and measured. Okay? You have a number attached to it. Sell this many units this month. Gain this many followers for my newsletter. Whatever it is, make it easy and measurable for the first time through it. If you've got a few goals that are easily measured, pick one that's undeniably important to you. So for example, I have a friend that is writing a book and she needs to grow her mailing list. And that is undeniably important to her and to the success of selling this book. So you got both. We know how many people we need to get on our mailing list. It's an undeniably important goal. Let's achieve it with human performance technology, shall we? So again, it will not be helpful, even just watching this video, to learn HPT without a goal in mind. So pause, think of a goal, and then come back and hit play. Got it? Great. Now that we have a goal, in other words, we have that glass of water, here's the top of that glass. We need to know how much water is already in the glass. I have a glass of water right here. Oh, I'm making my goal harder on myself. I'm going to put that away. Okay, I need to know, what are my current results? Where am I at right now and how far do I have to go? I also want to know, where are things going well? So if I'm working with a team, let's say I need to bring a team along with me on this goal. Who's performing well? Who's getting it? And who's not? Where are we struggling? If this is a goal that's just mine, my own alone, when am I doing well? And when am I struggling? Example, you know you're going to start eating healthier, right? On Monday, you do great. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then, ooh, the weekend, okay? We all have an example of a goal that's something like that. So when do we do well? Who is doing well? Who's not doing so well? When do we not do so well? All of these are great performance analysis questions. We also want to know how long we've been working towards this goal and how far we've come since we started working on it. I used to be in sales leadership. We would throw out new products all the time. So we had a goal set. We introduced the product. Later, we look back and said, it's not going the way we want it to. I still need to analyze where we started and where we're at now. Did we trend upwards? Did we do one of these? Did we do this? Okay. So what has been done so far? What's making it easier on us? And what's making it more difficult? Okay. So here are those questions again. Highly recommend you jot these down, or once they're all up on the screen, take a screenshot. So we have, what are the current results? In other words, how much water is already in your glass? Who's performing well, or when are we performing well? And on the other side of that, who's struggling? Who's underperforming? When are we underperforming? When are we not our best? How long have we been working towards this goal? And what progress has been made so far? What's helping us reach the goal? And of course, what is hurting our progress to reaching this goal? This is, again, a very simple way of looking at performance analysis. It's the tip of the iceberg, but it is going to make a big, big difference. Okay? One, it forces us to look at our goal objectively and in a way that we can measure. Okay? How do I know if I'm eating healthy? What does that actually look like? I can't analyze my performance if I don't know what this is. What does my glass full look like? Okay? What is it full of? How do I refill it? Okay? And that's what's going to happen next. How do I refill it? So we have a gap, and we need to understand what's causing the gap. Imagine that you are on an actual journey in your car, going from point A to point B. Now, you've traveled this road before in a lot of cases, right? Maybe it's even your commute to work from point A to point B, which for me right now is walking from my room to my office. You get on the road, you're going along, and all of a sudden, traffic jam. You're stuck. You're stopped. Now, had you turned on the GPS, yes, I know you've gone to work how many times before in your life, but if you had turned your GPS on just in case, just to look and see what the traffic looked like, you would have seen this traffic jam and you would have taken back roads and gotten to work way earlier. This is that. It's basically taking that moment to check your GPS to see where the holdup is and what roads to go on. Okay? So our next turn brings us to cause analysis. It's about understanding what's creating the gap between where we are and where we want to be. There are 6 root causes to any gap, and they are accountability, resources and tools, training, the why, capacity, and motivation. When these important factors are lacking, so are our results. Many leaders fall into the trap of assuming which of these is the issue and solving for X when we really need to solve for Y. Does that ever happen to you? I'll give you an example. As a trainer in sales, all the time I had people come to me and say, "Can you do a training on this?" And I would say, "Sure, I can." Should I is the real question here. So we would sit down and we would look at the cause analysis worksheet, the same one that you are going to see later today. And we would look at the cause analysis worksheet together, and a lot of times we found out training was not the answer, that the people that we were trying to support already knew what they were supposed to be doing. So what else is there if it's not something that we can solve by training? And that's exactly what cause analysis does for us. Basically, we look at these 6 areas and we answer a few questions on each. The answers being yes, no, or not sure. Okay, so simple yes, no questions that maybe we know the answer to and maybe we don't. And there are interventions based on each of those answers. So if you answer no to something in training, well, then maybe there's a training solution there for you. And that's exactly what we're going to look at. And I used the word solution. I meant to use the word intervention, and that'll come up a little later. So if you're working on a goal that is only dependent on you, okay, that is your personal goal, you're going to have mostly yeses and nos on your cause analysis worksheet. If you are working on a goal that involves a team, for example, I was a director of sales. I wasn't the one making the sales. Okay? I was running a team who was running a team who was running a team in their stores. So we had to play that game of telephone and figure out what's going on. So there were a lot more not sures in those days. So keep that in mind as you answer the questions in your cause analysis worksheet. Now, we are learning about human performance technology as a whole. Maybe you're watching this video for the first time because you're not sure what human performance technology is, or maybe you're watching it because you're going through the process. If you are going through the process right now, now would be the time to pause, pull out your strategic planning worksheet, and go ahead and answer the questions. If you're learning about this for the first time, hold off on that worksheet. We'll get to that again at the end. We want you to see the whole process before we start getting into the nitty-gritty. All right, what's next? We answer the questions in our cause analysis worksheet, and that brings us to our interventions. So usually when we're talking about closing a gap, reaching a goal, or solving a problem, we talk about solutions. I even messed up and used the word myself just a minute ago. Now, there is a reason that we're using the word interventions instead. You see, the word solution implies that the action is going to solve our problem, when in reality, we need a collection of actions and an evaluation to solve our problem. Therefore, a solution is actually made up of interventions and evaluation. So during this section, you will brainstorm examples of interventions to use based on the answers that you give during your cause analysis. That's answering the questions on the strategic planning worksheet. You'll follow the answer to the appropriate interventions and then take note of those recommendations. Now, you can do this just by grabbing a piece of paper and writing it down, or you can even organize your interventions. For example, questions to ask your team, questions to deliberate on by yourself with intention and mindfulness, people to reach out to and why you'd reach out to them, things to create like resources, tools, and trainings, concepts and skills to discuss with your mentor, leader, or role model. These are some categories of interventions that you're going to find or come up with as we go through cause analysis. Once we've got a collection of interventions, we want to create a strategy with those interventions that really makes sense. Once we have that done, and we're going to use something called the solution matrix to make that happen, that is going to create our map. And we need to continue to reference that map to make sure we're heading in the right direction and that it's still the most effective route. So again, it's just like using our GPS. As we're driving along, happy as can be, our GPS may say, hey, traffic ahead. Do you want to take this new route I found you? So really, when we're planning for evaluation, we are that GPS. We're just checking in every once in a while. Like, hey, you've been at this for a couple of weeks. Is it still working? Or, hey, you've reached this many units. Did you reach it earlier than planned, later than planned, or right on schedule? So basically, we need a plan to evaluate our journey as we go. Some questions that we can ask to make sure we've got a good plan are, what are the expectations of success? In other words, what does a full glass look like? Some people will call this a SMART goal. We talked about it all the way at the beginning with performance analysis. So here we are coming full circle. What does that look like? What will we measure to know that we're successful? So if we're taking a road trip, am I measuring my success by the time it takes me to get from point A to point B? Am I measuring it in how many road trip snacks that I can chew down? Or am I measuring it by the awesome landmarks that I stop at along the way? What am I measuring? How will we measure that success? And how will we know we're successful? What are the milestones along the way? And when should we be hitting each of those milestones? And finally, how often will we evaluate our progress? So as you put together your plan and start implementing interventions, don't give up if you don't see results right away. Okay, that is so crucial. don't give up if you don't see results right away, because some of the interventions that you're going to want to implement are going to be very effective, but also not exactly easy. And let's say it does come about that training is a big part of what you need to do to be successful. Well, we need to create that training, and that's not exactly an easy thing a lot of the times, okay? So it may take some time to do it, and just training people once is not the be all end all, okay? We need to help and offer continuing development. We need to continue to set expectations and hold people accountable. We need to make sure they understand the why behind this training and these expectations. So it's not something that we're just going to snap our fingers and boom, problem solved. Sorry to burst your bubble if that's what you were hoping to find here. But again, sometimes we're here and we need to get here. Other times it's completely empty. So I encourage you, stick with the plan for at least 2 weeks. Okay, at least 2 weeks. That's going to help give you enough time to reach your first milestone for evaluation and make sure that you are on the right track. Your strategy will have both short-term and long-term elements in it if you follow this exactly as we're talking about. And so that will help you to see how much your short-term versus long-term is really helping you to reach that goal. So keep an open mind and keep working towards it. What is next? Now that you've seen the whole process from beginning to end, let's take action, shall we? Your first step, and you can do this right now, grab a piece of paper, write the question down, and answer it. Pause me as often as you need to, but start your performance analysis. Even if you don't intend to take action, even if you're sitting here going, I just kind of want to know what this would look like, go for it. Hit pause and answer these questions now. Did you do it? Okay, last chance. Awesome. Now that you've answered these questions, your next step is to download the strategic planning worksheet and go through your cause analysis. I'm here for you. If you need anything, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. My email is aj@4leafleadership.com. You can also reach me by going to Facebook and finding our 4-Leaf Leadership page, or even going to LinkedIn and finding AJ Emery of 4-Leaf Leadership there. That's me. I am so happy to help you out with that strategic planning worksheet so you can get your cause analysis on. Once you've got that worksheet figured out, then we move on to your interventions and evaluation plan. Okay? A conversation with me is really going to help you out with that. Otherwise, utilizing a journey to improve performance can also give you some ideas if you're not quite ready to chat with me, or if we've already chatted and you just need to review some different ideas. Okay? But these are your steps in order for you to get the results that you deserve. And I'm so excited for you. I want to hear all about your journey to improved performance. So follow us on LinkedIn or on Facebook or on both if you're feeling froggy, and you will see a lot more resources and tools about human performance development. I've said it how many times in this whole thing? Human performance technology. As always, here at 4-Leaf Leadership, we don't leave success to luck. Let that sink in for a moment. We don't leave success to luck. We focus on accountability, resources, tools, training, and why. You are our why, and we hope we've served you well today. Thanks for tuning in, and happy human performance technologying. Have a good one.